Hello, everyone. Welcome to William the Bastard Speaks, broadcasting live from Tuis Merkluck, Narkley Square, in the middle of wonderful, oppressive, no theme is happening, no fucking cool shit whatsoever. The death of all dreams, otherwise known as Georgetown, Ohio. Hello, everyone. We are here today to make a first step toward our diagnosis of the ailments that have plagued our world for centuries, going back countless ages. We are going to talk about the divisions that rain down the jisms, that cause the schisms, whose roots begin in the isms. Now, isms originally weren't such a bad idea. Like we all started out as single cell organisms. That was definitely not bad. We've come a long way since then. It's a good thing we were that, or we would have never been what we are today. Um, After men became smart and ingested enough protein and their brains grew big enough to gain more reasoning ability and recreational meandering of the mind, they became familiar with something known as the ego. Now, the ego is what has promoted another ism that we call individualism. Individualism is a very healthy thing, and without individualism, very few original, truly original ideas would ever come to be and manifest on the creative plane here upon our terrestrial world that we live in. We dream things and think things in our mind before we can bring them forth, and without the freedom of individualism, with that being stifled, it's much more harder to evoke the creative process. We, as human beings, only use a limited amount of our intelligence in our brain, and it's very hard for us to always be mindful of certain things. Now, the only ism on a broad scale and social level that promoted individualism was another ism called tribalism. Tribalism was practiced by Native American peoples in Central America, as well as early European barbaric peoples such as the Germans, the Teutons, the Celts, and the Norse. Um, Tribalism is kind of like, hey, you can be yourself and decorate yourself, do your own thing, express yourself, however, but stay within a certain criteria of the tribe. It wasn't always forbidden to venture out, and quite often everybody had a little place or something they could do. Everybody felt important in the tribe. Whether you were man or woman, injured or healthy, you had a job, you had things you could do and contribute. And money wasn't a factor. It was still on a barter basis, a very free barter system. Eventually, that went into hyperdrive and a capitalizing enterprise for both white and red men alike during the 500 years of invasion and genocide were committed upon these more or less innocent native people. I'm not even going to get into that. But in the Middle East came a scourge, sort of a throwback to the old Egyptian mythologies, and it entered into Southern Europe, and it became the greatest ism of all, the most persistent ism, of which all other negative isms are tied to even to this day, and it's called imperialism. Imperialism is the governmental structure of a culture that is united into a republic. Now, as we all know, the former Russian states were once a republic. It was called, the Republic of Russia. Um, And as you also know, here in the United States, too, the republic for which it stands, one nation under. Anyway, um, they say this is a republic. However, they also say it's a democracy. But I just the only democratic bullshit I'm getting is from the liberal and the left. Um, it's kind of a blight that we have these political parties, these two-way divisions. It is a tactic of imperialism in all its forms to conquer and divide. If you read Sun Tzu, you will understand this. Conquer and divide is the objective of businesses, corporations, governments across the globe worldwide to keep us fighting amongst ourselves and divert our attention away from what is truly going on. That way, we cannot bring into focus anything to change their continued plan to make us consumer zombies that are incapable of free thought and free broadcast. Thank God for the internet, even though it has destroyed the music industry. Imperialism is the spawning point for all of the terribleisms, fascism, communism, capitalism, uh, premature ejaculativism. You can blame most all the ills upon the planet, all the wars, all of the oppression and enslavement and conquering and senseless slaughter upon imperialism in some form or another. During World War II, we've seen it in a very brutal form known as totalitarianism, which was a device used by Hitler, which means that he wanted to more or less be the ruling, beyond the emperor, beyond imperialism. He wanted total control of the world, so to speak. Now, we all know that that guy was a total freaking asshole, and that's the last thing we really needed. And not only that, he was a terrible hypocrite. I think his mom was part Jewish, maybe his dad too. And, he was so anti-Semitic. It's just ridiculous. Maybe there are Jews in the banking systems that are heavily involved in capital enterprise. However, I can think of a few white people, a few black people, and definitely more than a few Asian people that are equally, if not more, involved. We're not going to get into all that. All of these isms have held us back from our evolutionary growth and our ability to progress as a species and to mentally expand our consciousness. When we overcome these isms, when we get back to the true individualism, when we forget about right and left, liberal and Democrat, conservative and Republican, just because a person may stand for a couple issues, we should not label them or throw them into that camp. They want to divide us, as I said, and they want to keep our minds off of what's really going on in the two-party system, one-party system funded by the same lobbyist. It undoubtedly does a great job of that, and so does weekly entertainment of sports, and you name it, any kind of sport that you might find of interest. You're actually doing a mental masturbation by really giving it the attention that you do. There's been many points in my life since I've become an adult that I so burnt myself out on TV when I was young. So many points in adulthood. I totally have disdained and distanced myself from any and all TV. In fact, the only media I receive now at this point is through the internet. I suggest you do the same. It is a box of mind control. It's even more so a mind controlling factor nowadays because how it has walked away from broadcast TV and now is digital, which makes it much easier to see. If you're a conspiracy theorist, which I'm not, so-called subliminal messaging. Not that I don't believe in that shit, because I believe the power of suggestion. It's been used very effectively upon all of us. And this is the last note, in case you didn't realize from all of this speech and hogwash that I've been talking about, which is really probably some of what you should have heard. You're all under attack. I'm under attack. You're under attack. Your children are under attack. Your mom and dad are under attack. You've been under attack since before you spit out of your daddy's sack. And you need to defend yourselves and reclaim your mind, your individual essence. And power to the people, especially the people of the United States of America. We're not Democrats. We're not Republicans, conservatives, liberals, right or left. We need to get back to realizing responsibility that entails the liberties we've enjoyed. We need to get back to being real Americans.